I know not what course others may take, but as for me, give me liberty or give me death. 7 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. The power of the spoken word has inspired millions of people throughout history. Have you ever been inspired by a speech? Now, even though you and I might not have the impact of Patrick Henry, Abraham Lincoln, or Martin Luther King Jr., we can still cultivate the power of our own voice. Warren Buffett says, effective public speaking increases a person's market value by as much as 50%. And I agree with him. I would say also it increases your self-esteem by that same amount. In the next 10 minutes, you'll pick up 2 tools that can help you deliver more dynamic presentations as well as leaving memorable, meaningful messages. Those tools are purpose and coaching. Regarding purpose, today I'll focus on the difference between the spoken and the written word. There is a big difference, mainly in that the spoken word has a much larger interaction with the audience. Brian Tracy calculates that audience attention is only 7% focused on the content or words. 93% are on body language and vocal tone. Even if we look at the 3 speeches that I started with, if either one of those speakers simply printed out the words word for word and gave them to the crowd right there and didn't actually have that live interaction, their effect would be minimalized. So the question to you as a speaker is, do you have a difference between the written and the spoken word in your presentations? If you were with me on a hazy, hot, and humid afternoon back in 1992, August 1992, in New York City, 53rd floor of the Sony building, in a room with 45 other people, you would have seen my first speech with Gray Bar Toastmasters. My friend Jim invited me because this was an advanced club and they gave out trophies for the best speaker at each meeting. And as the 2 of us settled into our seats in the back row, while Jim was sipping his coffee, my eyes looked at that trophy on top of the stage and I leaned over and said, "Jim, that will be mine." But if you were in that room, you would have seen only the top of my head because my eyes were glued to my notes. You would have missed 1 out of every 3 words as I rushed to squeeze in 25 facts and figures into a 5-minute presentation. And you would have felt totally disconnected from the stiff figure who gripped the lectern so tightly that his knuckles turned white. But I thought I did well. Went back to my seat with a big smile on my face, thinking I got this wrapped up, till I saw Jim. He was seething. As soon as I sat down, he came over and said, "You thought that was good? All you did was get up there and brag about 10 achievements. That's not a speech." And I thought to myself, it isn't. It's worked in the past. And then he continued railing into me. There's no vocal variety, no movement with purpose. I counted about 25 ahs, ers, ums, you knows. And as he kept going on and on, the aroma of his coffee started to make me nauseous as I sank deeper into my seat. I looked out the window and I wondered, would it be easier to just jump and keep listening? But this was failure. And added to that was, in 15 minutes, the club president, Larry, would be giving an evaluation to the entire 45 people in the room. I was not feeling good. Sure enough, when Larry got up there, standing tall and confidently, he mentioned my flaws and gave some suggestions for improvement. And then he concluded by saying, "Robert, slow down. Engage us. Most speeches are forgotten in the next day, so why don't you try to give us some kind of succinct message and time to reflect on it so that we can remember it." Wow! My head was swimming with all these possibilities. First thing was, I want to be like Larry. I want to empower speakers instead of cutting them down. And I want to engage my audience. Even though I didn't win the trophy that night, I won a much bigger prize, which was I learned that to speak with purpose, you have to engage your audience and leave a meaningful and memorable message. If we go back to the present now, I'm happy to report that I've had probably a couple of dozen of these trophies for Best Speaker. But on top of that, I can say that when I speak in public, my purpose is to leave a meaningful and memorable message while bonding with the audience. Sometimes I bond so well that I feel like I even have them in the palm of my hand. That's an incredibly powerful feeling. Have you ever felt it? Would you like to feel it? How do you think that makes you feel, knowing you can master a skill that many people around you fear even more than death? Your self-esteem skyrockets. Now, changing from speaking dud to speaking dynamo takes determination. And over the past 30 years, I've delivered and evaluated hundreds of speeches all across America. And I've developed a keen, objective eye for spotting the good, the bad, and the ugly in verbal presentations. Now that we know the value of purpose in speaking, let's move on to my second tool, which is coaching. Have you ever felt like you were stagnating at work? Well, I did, and I felt like I needed a change. I needed to step up my game. What do you think athletes and performers and other professionals do when they want to step up their game? They get coached. Do you think Tom Brady or Michael Jordan or even Mozart could have reached their peak levels of performance without coaching? I don't. An objective expert always helps. In the past 3 months, I've been immersed in the world-class speaking coaching program, brilliantly led by Craig Valentine and Mitch Meyerson. My top goal for next year is to master this world-class speaking program. And I'm spending thousands of dollars, 8 to 10 hours a day for that purpose. I've swept aside practically everything else in my life to that end. Thanks to some of the mentors and other students in the program, I'm on my way. And the good news for you is that my long road can become your shortcut. Before we wrap things up, let me ask, are you satisfied with your speaking skills? Would you like help with the possibility of doubling your impact within 3 months? All you need to do is sign up. Write to me at speaking@begley.com. I'll send you a PDF about speaking with purpose, and then weekly messages, including 3 mistakes you want to avoid. And I'll be putting out a series of videos about public speaking tips, so that you can become a more effective speaker. Picture yourself 1 year from now. You're being congratulated by everybody around you because you've just delivered an eloquent toast. Or when other people around you are too fearful or too emotional, you step forward and deliver a eulogy for a friend who just departed. Or you see yourself coming out of a bank because you just deposited a check given to you by a venture capitalist due to your dynamic sales presentation. Or, enjoying life to its fullest, you profoundly declare your love to your soulmate, as my dearest Carrie Ann and I do every single day. These and many other opportunities await you. Remember, when you speak with purpose, you leave a meaningful and memorable message. And maybe someday you'll deliver a message in your own voice that rivals that of Patrick Henry, Abraham Lincoln, or Martin Luther King Jr. Isn't that a noble goal worth striving for?